Consent doesn't exist in marriage.
A 19-year-old girl should have kids? Yes, that's actually when she is most fertile and most effective in childbirthing. Guess what? At 30, it could be.
Praise be, my dears, because apparently The Handmaid's Tale isn't just fiction anymore, it's trending in real life.
I want to major in homemaking, and I want the study of paying attention to my household, and I want the skill of building a home. And I really, truly, with all my heart, want the achievement of loving the Lord, loving a man, and building a family.
From Nara Smith, who's currently on her 4th child at 24 and apparently solving the global birth rate crisis single-handedly, to Wizard Liz, who's rediscovering herself through faith.
Start viewing God as someone that wants the best for you, that is looking out for you. Knowing that God loves you, God is always there with you, gives you a stronger sense of self-worth.
To Savannah Stone, 19, fountain of marital wisdom and newly self-appointed apostle of matrimony.
I love when a man tells me to be ready by 7:30. He tells me when he's going to pick me up, tells me where we're going, tells me what to wear, plans the entire date, pays for the date. But then when he tells you to cut off a friend that's not good for you, you say, you're not allowed to tell me what to do. Then you don't actually want true masculine leadership.
There's a rising wave of influencers turning back to traditional values. Today, we're digging into why this nostalgic, God-fearing lifestyle has become the new aesthetic and why so many people online are ready to trade in feminism for freshly baked sourdough.
When people ask me if I'm a feminist, my answer always gives them whiplash. I'm sure you can tell what my answer is. It's that I'm not, and I don't care about feminism. Just do not involve me.
Nara Smith recently had the internet in a chokehold after posting what looked like the perfect postpartum photo.
Okay, so Nara Smith gave birth about 2 weeks ago, and today she posted this photo to Instagram. And obviously she looks totally snatched and she's holding her infant child.
People started speculating. Did she fake the pregnancy? Was it a surrogate? Yes, someone really said that.
Hundreds of people are leaving comments saying, surrogate, I don't believe she was really pregnant. It's called surrogacy. She was never pregnant.
Honestly, that's some dystopian sci-fi level of conspiracy, but it shows how obsessed we are with the idea of women bouncing back after birth. Sure, Nara's young, genetically blessed, eats healthy, exercises, and probably knows her best angles, but the bigger conversation that photo triggered is about pressure. Even Nara's admitted she's felt it before, that invisible rule that you should snap back immediately, especially if you're in your early 20s. People in comment sections, articles, and TikToks popped up saying it's totally normal for young women to bounce back fast. Except, no, it's not the rule, and it's definitely not universal. The idea that every young woman can or should erase the physical evidence of pregnancy overnight isn't normal. It's marketing with a moral undertone. This whole narrative feeds a broader message that the best time to have kids is when you are barely out of adolescence, so your body can recover faster.
And have more success in their reproductive ability at a younger age. Before you go ahead and go, what? A 19-year-old girl should have kids? Yes, that's actually when she is most fertile and most effective in childbirthing. Guess what? At 30, it could already clearly biological indicators that's pointing to women to do that. And so what does this mean for women? That at a younger age, you need to know who you are.
It quietly suggests that women's early 20s should be devoted to reproduction, not exploration. Take Matt and Abby, for example, another young Christian couple who build a brand around marrying and having kids early on and embracing traditional roles. Youth plus fertility equals virtue points online. And while there's nothing wrong with choosing that lifestyle, it gets blurry when it's packaged as the right way, especially when the packaging is monetized.
Christian women, it is not a suggestion to submit and obey our husbands. It's a requirement. It's a command given to us from the Lord.
So now we have this booming genre of content where being traditional means marrying young, having multiple kids, and pledging eternal submission to your husband, all filmed in perfect golden hour lighting. The twist, many of these self-proclaimed tradwives aren't exactly homemakers struggling to make ends meet. They are influencers/entrepreneurs, and their job is teaching you how to not have a job while earning a full-time income doing it.
Stay home mum. My husband's at work providing for our family. I have some sourdough fermenting on the bench, a baby, an apron, a cute dress. I'm tiddling around the house, cleaning things, making myself food. I can go to the beach if I want. I can go to a cafe if I want. I can take my kids to the park if I want. I can go lay out in the sun. I have this cuteness right here that I get to look at all day, that I get to hang out with. Okay, I have another kid that's napping right now, so I get some peace and quiet.
On TikTok, you'll find creators promoting obedience and feminine energy, all while linking their Amazon storefronts in Patreon communities. Many even state that their husbands are sole providers, as they quietly monetize every view under their own brand.
I don't know about y'all, we're a lot happier as women obeying our husbands We ever were as career-driven women obeying our boss. Absolutely.
Look, I get the appeal. There's something comforting about clear roles and nostalgia for simpler times, but it's also a fantasy, a curated version of 1950s domestic bliss that ignores why so many women fought for independence in the first place. Financial literacy, autonomy, education, these aren't threats to femininity. They are the safety nets that prevent dependency from turning into entrapment. And what's most ironic is that these same tradwife influencers are benefiting from the very freedoms they claim they reject. Without feminism, they couldn't vote, run a business, or post TikToks about how much they hate feminism. But perhaps the most surreal example of this movement comes from someone who hasn't even finished developing their prefrontal cortex, Savannah Stone. She's 19, deeply devoted, and apparently has unlocked the secrets to lifelong partnership for just $19 a month on her Savannah Society membership.
Consent doesn't exist in marriage. I know this is going to piss a lot of people off.
So you're saying as a married woman, I should be willing to give up my career for my family, learn how to make food from scratch, be submissive to my husband, have one bank account, no prenup, and be trapped for life in one relationship? Yeah, that would be a healthy marriage.
She got married at 18 and now preaches that women should stay married no matter what.
If a man cheated on you, you would tolerate?
Not my husband. If it was a boyfriend, I'd leave.
No,
But
I feel like I know you're a man, like you're a husband. If he cheated on you, would tolerate it?
It would be extremely hard to get through. I think that would be probably the hardest thing I went through in my marriage, but I don't believe in ending a marriage.
What if it was reoccurring infidelity?
I mean, we'd have an issue there, but yeah, I wouldn't leave my husband.
Even if he did it multiple times?
Yeah, I wouldn't leave my husband.
I think women should fold laundry.
Wow. She calls herself traditional, submissive, and godly, and she's found an audience that eats it up. But here's where it gets ironic. Savannah's entire career, her platform, income, freedom to speak exists because of feminism. Without those movements, she wouldn't have her own bank account, a platform, or the right to be on podcasts preaching against women's rights.
What were women doing 200 years ago? I mean, how would
200 years ago?
Yeah, let's say, like, go back 200
Was
years.
that fifth?
Before the internet, before the ACs, before the birth control, before all of that.
I mean, they were probably so damn happy. They were probably so much happier than we are now, like scrolling through TikTok and Instagram all day.
What do you think of the argument that not really because they didn't have a choice? At least now they do have a choice. And
I don't know where people. I think they actually did have a choice.
Yeah.
And everybody's so obsessed with the word choice. Like choice is so sexy, and like I don't really understand that. Actually, when you have boundaries around your life and there's some things that you tell yourself you can't do, that's actually freedom. That's why the Bible, like when you actually follow the Bible and follow the principles, your life is better and God's way is always better, and you actually have more freedom because you are living a certain way.
And to be clear, there's nothing wrong with getting married young if that's your choice. But when that choice becomes ideology, and when it's packaged as moral superiority, that's when it starts to sound like indoctrination.
Girl boss culture is so dead. There has been a cultural shift that nobody can deny, especially on social media, of women and their aprons, baking sourdough, caring for their husbands, talking about their dream of being a stay-at-home wife. It is no secret that women are embracing their femininity more and realizing that this whole lie that your career is everything and it's the most important thing in your life was exactly that. It was a huge lie.
We are going to be raising our daughters to be homemakers and not career women.
Another interesting trend I see developing in this shift towards traditionalism is how religion has re-entered the influencer space hard.
When I was 22 years old, God told me how old I was going to be when I met my husband, and he was right.
Even creators like Wizard Liz, who doesn't fit the traditional housewife aesthetic, often weave traditional values into their advice, sometimes without even realizing it.
One day I'm gonna become a mother. I'm gonna create a beautiful family for myself, and I don't want my children to have a father figure that wasn't consistent or that wasn't good to me.
While many people see Liz as the ultimate independent woman who uses men to her advantage, her core message often echoes traditional values. And she even showcased getting engaged, having traditional religious elopement, and starting a family really quickly. She's also open about her faith, regularly saying that she prays that God has blessed her and that He's always shown her the path forward. In many ways, she's elevated herself to a preacher-like role, teaching others how to live their life and claiming that loving God will literally change your life.
Right now, I know that if I pray and if I ask God for things, I will get it, and my life will feel like heaven. My life will feel magical. So my state of mind, I am living in heaven and in paradise already.
What's interesting is that faith is the common thread uniting many of these influencers. Nara Smith, Savannah Stone, Wizard Liz, Matt and Abby, they might all express it differently, but their underlying principles seem to match.
Everyone and their brother is talking about Matt and Abby, and I think it is so fascinating because it is exactly how most of the marriages I saw growing up worked. Their marriage is what most evangelical marriages look like, because I guarantee they practice complementarianism based on what they have said in their podcasts, which means that Abby is submitting. And so even with the Father's Day thing of having to she combined the things and it wasn't good enough, and now she's like, I failed. There's no like, no, you are wrong. The woman takes the brunt of responsibility for everything because that is complementarianism.
At the end of the day, it's not about deciding whether being a trad wife or embracing modernization is better. Some people generally thrive in traditional family roles, finding purpose and peace in homemaking, while others feel most fulfilled pursuing independence, careers, or creative freedom. Both paths can be meaningful and both can be challenging. The problem starts when one lifestyle is glamorized as the only right way to live. Not every trad wife will live a life of bliss and comfort, just as not every working woman will become a CEO and live a life of luxury. What matters most is that people are free to define fulfillment for themselves, without shame, pressure, or algorithm telling them which version of womanhood to perform and dictating what is better for them.